Okay, we're gonna start with the plunger rod. For this you need the shock O-ring, the thick one, the 124 O-ring, the bigger one. You put the shock O-ring into its home. You can use a little bit of super glue for this, just to make sure it doesn't come out, but it should be fine. And then the 124 O-ring goes around like that. And then you take the stick part of your plunger rod and you put it into this little slot, apply a little force, and she'll go in. Next we're going to do the catch assembly. These parts. For this you're just going to need the catch spring and two 1-inch screws. You're going to take this part and put it in just like that, where this angled piece is facing up out of the part. Then you're going to take your catch spring and put it into this little slot here. And be careful because it can pop out right about now. And then you're going to take the other part of your catch and you're going to line it up like so. See these two holes for the screws? Line it up just like that. Drop your screws in and screw. When it's done, this should be a smooth press and it should return every time. Up next is the bolt assembly. You'll need the plunger tube, the bolt O-ring, and two 124s. The 124s get slotted into these two divots. They should fit snug with a tiny little bit of movement, not too tight. Then you'll take your bolt O-ring and you press it in to this housing for it. It should just barely peek up. That's not going nowhere. Now you can take your plunger tube and just slide it right over there. And your ejector goes in just like that. Here we have the trigger assembly. This one's pretty easy. See this divot? That little dimple? It goes right into this hole. It's got to press down and it'll snap right in. It should move pretty freely. Now we're going to put it all together. Here we have our frame, our trigger, our bolt, and our catch assembly. The frame sits like this. What we're going to do is we're going to seat the bolt assembly right in here. And when it's seated correctly, the hole on the bolt will line up with the hole in the frame like that. We're going to use a 1.5-inch screw here. And now this bolt is locked in. We have to get our spring. You want to make sure your catch rod goes in with the angled part facing up. And when you close it, it won't come out unless you compress the catch. If you do it upside down, you might be able to force it through, but it'll just come right out. So you got to make sure it's oriented correctly. We're going to put the spring on, and we're going to apply a little bit of lube to the outside of this plunger head. Nothing crazy. And now, with a little bit of messing around with it, the plunger rod in. You want to move it up and down, make sure the lube gets all into all the crevices, and it should be pretty smooth. Now we can put the rest of the catch in. Try and get the plunger rod into the catch assembly, and we can leave it like that for now. Now we can take our other half of the frame, bring it back, and use a 1.5 inch screw into this last hole. I like to slide this part in at this point. If you gently separate, now we have the trigger assembly we made. We're gonna put it in here. We have a 1 inch hole, a 1 inch screw goes in here, and a 1.5 inch screw goes up here. There's the 1 inch screw, and there's the 1.5. Of the second to last step, we have our pump. We're gonna slide it on. We're gonna line up these two holes with these two holes. Now we have an identical hole on the top on either side. We're gonna put a 1 inch screw in both of these. And then this bottom one gets a 1.5 inch screw. At this point, if you try and move the grip and it's rough and it's tight, just back these screws out just a little bit. And it should be nice and smooth. And then the last step, take this breech, and we're gonna put it in, and then you get two 1.5 inch screws. And that's your blaster.